You've ever heard of a movie called Into the Wild? It's an amazing story based on a true story about a young man who changed his life by changing how he thinks. Chris McCandless was a bright young man who just graduated from college. He had everything going for him: a promising future, a loving family, and many opportunities. But instead of embracing this good fortune, Chris did something totally unexpected. He gave most of his money to charity, said goodbye to his family and friends, and then set off on a journey into the Alaskan wilderness. Chris wanted to live a simple life close to nature and escape the pressures of modern society. He walked hundreds of miles through the wild, carrying all his belongings on his back. Despite the harsh conditions, he kept going until he reached his destination: the rugged and remote Denali National Park. There, Chris built a small shelter out of natural materials and lived off the land, hunting and fishing for food. He spent months in complete solitude, away from any form of modern civilization. During this time, he encountered many challenges, including dangerous animals, extreme weather, and the threat of starvation. But through it all, he remained determined to live his life on his own terms. One day, however, Chris's luck ran out. He was found by a group of park rangers who were conducting a search for a missing hiker. They offered him food and supplies and then persuaded him to return to civilization. Chris eventually agreed, and with their help, he left the park and returned to the outside world. When Chris returned home, he was a changed person. He had learned to appreciate the simple things in life and had gained a deep respect for nature. He also realized the importance of human connection and the need for community support. Chris began sharing his story with others, inspiring them to follow their dreams and live life on their own terms. Sadly, Chris's story ended tragically when he was killed in an accident at the age of 24. Despite his short life, he left behind a legacy that continues to inspire people around the world to push their limits and pursue their dreams. The movie is super inspiring, but what really makes it special are the lessons we can learn from it. These lessons are important for anyone who wants to achieve their goals and live a fulfilling life. So let me ask you a question. Are you living your life on your own terms, or are you following someone else's path? Are you chasing your dreams or someone else's? Are you afraid to take risks, or do you prefer to play it safe? Well, if you answered yes to any of these questions, then this movie is definitely for you. In today's English lesson, we will explore some powerful vocabulary and natural expressions from this amazing story. As we discuss each phrase, I'll explain its meaning and provide you with examples so that you can see how it's used in a sentence. Let's dive in. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the expression to embrace good fortune. This means to accept and enjoy good luck or success. In the story, Chris had every reason to embrace good fortune. He had a great education, a supportive family, and many opportunities ahead of him. But instead of taking advantage of these blessings, he decided to change his life completely. To embrace good fortune, you need to be grateful for what you have and make the most of the opportunities that come your way. Our second expression is to give most of his money to charity. This means to donate a large portion of his money to help others. Chris was deeply moved by the suffering of people around the world, and he wanted to do something to make a difference. So he decided to give most of his money to charity. To give most of his money to charity, you need to have a generous heart and a willingness to help those in need. Now let's talk about the phrase to set off on a journey. This means to begin a trip or adventure with excitement and anticipation. Chris was eager to start his journey into the Alaskan wilderness, and he couldn't wait to experience all that nature had to offer. To set off on a journey, you need to be curious and open to new experiences. Next up, we have the expression to carry all his belongings on his back. This means to carry all of his possessions, such as his clothes, food, and camping equipment, on his back. Chris was determined to live as simply as possible, and this meant that he had to carry everything he owned with him wherever he went. To carry all his belongings on his back, you need to be strong and resilient. Moving on, we have the phrase "in complete solitude." This means to be completely alone, without any other people around. Chris spent many months living in complete solitude in the Alaskan wilderness, and this allowed him to connect with nature in a deep and meaningful way. To live in complete solitude, you need to be independent and self-sufficient. The next expression we'll be discussing is to encounter challenges. This means to experience difficulties or problems. Throughout his journey, Chris encountered many challenges, such as dangerous animals, extreme weather, and the threat of starvation. However, he never gave up, and he kept moving forward. To encounter challenges, you need to be brave and persistent. The next phrase we're going to talk about is to persuade someone to do something. This means to convince someone to take a certain action. The park rangers were concerned about Chris's well-being, so they tried to persuade him to leave the park and return to civilization. To persuade someone to do something, you need to be respectful and empathetic. Next up, we have the expression to return to civilization. This means to go back to the normal world after being in a remote or primitive place. After spending months in the Alaskan wilderness, Chris finally agreed to return to civilization. To return to civilization, you need to be willing to leave your comfort zone and re-enter the outside world. Last but not least, the final expression we're going to discuss is to share his story with others. This means to tell his experiences and adventures to other people. Chris was inspired to share his story with others in the hopes that it would motivate them to follow their dreams. To share your story with others, you need to be confident and passionate about your experiences. We've now covered all the key expressions and phrases from our story. Let's quickly recap them to make sure you fully understand each one. We started with the expression to embrace good fortune, which means to accept and enjoy good luck or success. Then we looked at the phrase to give most of his money to charity, which means to donate a large portion of his money to help others. Next up, we have the expression to set off on a journey, which means to begin a trip or adventure with excitement and anticipation. Moving on, we have the phrase to carry all his belongings on his back, which means to carry all of his possessions on his back. Following that, we discussed the expression in complete solitude, which means to be completely alone without any other people around. The next phrase we covered was to encounter challenges, which means to experience difficulties or problems. After that, we looked at the expression to persuade someone to do something, which means to convince someone to take a certain action. Next up, we have the phrase to return to civilization, which means to go back to the normal world. And last but not least, we discussed the expression to share his story with others, which means to tell his experiences and adventures to other people. Now that you've learned these important vocabulary words and expressions, I challenge you to put them into practice. Try using them in a story of your own or in a conversation with a friend. You can also use them to describe your own experiences and adventures. Don't be afraid to experiment and have fun with the English language. Remember, the more you practice, the better you'll become. So go out there and give it a try. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing English lessons. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery and self-improvement. I hope you've enjoyed learning these new vocabulary words and expressions, and that you will put them into practice in your own life. Remember, the power to change your life is within you. All you need to do is believe in yourself and have the courage to follow your dreams. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep chasing your dreams. Goodbye.
Hey everybody! In today's WordCraft English episode, we dive into iconic movie scenes where a single decision reshapes the future. Make choices that matter. Learn English with movies. That's our slogan here at WordCraft English, because when you learn English from movies, every scene is full of choices. Choices that characters make, choices that you can learn from, and choices that affect their future. It's like an exciting game where the pieces are words and and the board is your understanding of English. So, get ready for an English lesson like no other. Today we retaking the phrase "a single decision reshapes the future" and looking at it through the lens of some unforgettable movies. Now, you might be thinking, why focus on a single decision? Why not just learn English by watching movies as usual? Well, because today we're doing things a little differently. We're going deeper, analyzing how a single choice impacts the future. You see, in life and in English, small decisions often lead to big changes. The way we express ourselves, the words we choose, they all have an effect on the story of our communication. Just as characters in movies stand at crossroads, we too face moments that require careful consideration. Every choice we make, whether it's asking someone out or deciding how to respond to criticism, contributes to the narrative of our lives. These decisions, big and small, shape who we are, how others perceive us, and the direction our conversations take. Let us explore some memorable movie scenes where pivotal choices were made and examine how these scenes can teach us valuable lessons in English. Along the way, we'll uncover the emotions, values, and relationships that influence our decisions and the ripple effects they create. So, if you're ready to embark on this captivating journey through the realm of choices and consequences, then let's dive right in. Let's look at a few powerful scenes and discover the English they can teach us. Scene No. 1. The proposal. Imagine a scenario. You've been working hard on a project for months, and you're so close to finishing it. But something unexpected happens. A new client arrives with a revised set of instructions, and now you have to start all over again. How do you react? Do you embrace the change? Do you complain, or do you find a balance between the two? Let's analyze a famous scene from the movie The Proposal. This scene illustrates the idea of accepting change gracefully. Margaret Tate, played by Sandra Bullock, is a book editor who has meticulously planned her career path. However, she receives an ultimatum from her assistant, Andrew Paxton, played by Ryan Reynolds. If she wants to keep her job, she must marry him within 90 days. This sudden proposal disrupts her carefully laid plans, forcing her to confront the possibility of marriage and commitment. The scene highlights the emotional turmoil and internal conflict that Margaret experiences as she grapples with this unexpected change in her personal life. The scene opens with Andrew presenting Margaret with a surprising ultimatum. He informs her that he has discovered her plan to fire him and replace him with someone younger and cuter. To avoid losing his job, he proposes a solution: get married. He asserts that there is nothing she can say or do to change his mind. This unexpected turn of events catches Margaret off guard, and she finds herself at a crossroads. Andrew's ultimatum forces her to reevaluate her priorities and consider the possibility of marriage, something she had not previously anticipated. He clearly states his position, leaving no room for negotiation. His confidence and determination in stating that there is nothing she can say or do to change his mind emphasizes the seriousness of his proposal. Margaret's initial reaction is disbelief and anger. She feels trapped and frustrated by the situation and responds with sarcasm and bitterness. She sarcastically thanks Andrew for ruining her night and expresses her annoyance by calling him an idiot. Her angry outburst reflects her struggle to come to terms with the unexpected change in her plans. However, amidst her anger, a glimmer of vulnerability emerges. She questions what makes Andrew think that she would agree to his proposal. This subtle hint of uncertainty reveals the internal conflict brewing within her, as she begins to contemplate the possibility of marriage. So remember, when faced with unexpected situations, it's important to stay calm and open-minded. Consider the options available to you and explore the possibilities that lie ahead. Embrace change as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. And don't be afraid to speak up about your feelings and negotiate for what you want. By approaching situations with a positive mindset and a willingness to adapt, you can navigate the twists and turns of life more gracefully and confidently. See No to The Dark Knight. In the gripping movie The Dark Knight, we encounter a pivotal scene that explores the theme of moral choices. Batman, portrayed by Christian Bale, finds himself at a critical juncture when he discovers that the late Rachel Dawes was engaged to Harvey Dent, also known as Two-Face. This revelation raises a profound question. Should Batman reveal Harvey's secret identity to District Attorney Jim Gordon? The scene delves into the ethical dilemma Batman faces, torn between protecting Harvey's reputation and upholding justice. As Batman grapples with this moral quandary, he confronts the complexity of Harvey's character. Despite Harvey's past as a criminal, Batman recognizes his potential for good and the hope he represents for Gotham City. Batman's inner conflict is evident as he considers the consequences of revealing Harvey's secret identity. On one hand, exposing Harvey would bring him public disgrace and jeopardize his political career. On the other hand, revealing the truth would serve justice and ensure that the corrupt Harvey Dent is held accountable for his actions. The scene highlights Batman's unwavering commitment to justice, even when it comes at a personal cost. Now let's look at some key phrases from this scene. I'm not gonna be able to save him. When he realizes that Harvey Dent has been permanently transformed into Two-Face, he accepts that there's no turning back and that saving Harvey's soul is no longer possible. He says he's not worth it. This line reveals Batman's conflicted emotions as he comes to terms with the corrupted state of Harvey Dent. Despite their past, friendship, and the potential for good, Batman acknowledges that Harvey has chosen a path of evil and destruction. His statement reflects the gravity of Harvey's actions and the irreversible damage he has caused. Finally, Batman asserts, why does he deserve this? This rhetorical question showcases Batman's deep-rooted sense of justice and compassion. He questions why Harvey Dent, despite his inherent goodness, has been subjected to such darkness and corruption. It reflects Batman's struggle to comprehend the complexities of human nature and the tragic downfall of Harvey. Scene 3. Forrest Gump. Next, let's examine a heartwarming scene from the classic film, Forrest Gump. This scene revolves around a pivotal moment in Forrest's life, when he is faced with a choice that will significantly impact his future. Throughout the film, Forrest's unwavering determination and kind heart guide him through various challenges. However, this particular scene stands out as a testament to his resilience and ability to overcome adversity. As the scene unfolds, we witness Forrest standing before Lieutenant Dan, played by Gary Sinise, a Vietnam War veteran. Lieutenant Dan initially embodies cynicism and bitterness towards life, believing that he has been dealt a bad hand due to his physical disabilities sustained during the war. Forrest, with his genuine optimism and determination, chooses to challenge this defeatist attitude. Rather than succumbing to despair, Forrest decides to act. He takes charge of his situation and seizes control of his own destiny. Instead of being consumed by negativity, he adopts a proactive approach, channeling his energy into positive actions. He begins running, first to escape danger, and then as a means to honor his fallen comrades. As Forrest continues to run, he accumulates wealth and gains fame. He uses his newfound resources to help others, including Lieutenant Dan, providing him with opportunities for financial stability and a sense of purpose. In this powerful scene, Forrest Gump challenges societal perceptions of disability and demonstrates that physical limitations should not define one's potential or happiness. Through his actions, Forrest inspires Lieutenant Dan and viewers alike to embrace optimism and to strive for happiness despite any challenges they may face. And finally, he concludes with the iconic line, "Mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get." Forrest's mother's words serve as a guiding philosophy throughout the film. It reminds us that life is unpredictable, and we should be prepared for both the pleasant and unpleasant surprises that come our way. It encourages us to embrace the uncertainties of life and to appreciate every moment, recognizing that each experience, whether sweet or bitter, contributes to the richness of our journey. And that's a wrap on this episode of WordCraft English. We hope you enjoyed this unique approach to learning English, where we looked at powerful movie scenes and explored the choices characters make and the consequences that shape their futures. Remember, just like the characters in these films, we all face moments of decision every day, big and small. Our choices reflect our values, beliefs, and aspirations. And these decisions have the power to shape not only our own futures, but also the lives of those around us. So go forth, embrace the choices that lie ahead. Learn from both the successes and mistakes of others. And write your own story with confidence and determination. Keep practicing. Keep making choices that align with your goals. And watch as your English skills flourish, just like the characters who dared to dream big and take action.
If you really want to make your dreams come true one day, then listen to what these characters are saying in this video. You'll start understanding why so many people love watching these movie scenes over and over again. Hi, I'm here from an English learning channel, and today we're going to learn English with movies. Specifically, we're going to look at some of the most powerful and inspiring movie scenes ever made. These scenes can help you to improve your English listening skills. They can also teach you new English vocabulary, and they can motivate you to be more successful in life. So if you're ready to become a better English speaker and to level up in life, let's get started. Let's start with this well-known scene from the movie, The Pursuit of Happiness. In this movie, Will Smith plays Chris Gardner, a single father who is trying his best to take care of his young son, while also trying to create a better life for them both. Chris goes through many challenges and struggles while trying to find a job and get ahead in life. But he never gives up on his dreams for himself and his son. He keeps pushing forward, and eventually he succeeds in the end. Now let's watch this part of the movie again. It's time now for our first pause. Let's look at some of the most important phrases and words. Don't ever forget, you are amazing. Chris says this to his son to motivate and encourage him. You're gonna make it? This is another expression used to tell someone that they will succeed. No matter what happens, no matter how difficult things get, don't ever give up on yourself. This is an important lesson about never giving up on your dreams and goals. It's not what you look at, it's what you see. When you look at something, it doesn't matter what that thing is. What matters is what you choose to focus on and what you choose to believe. There's no such thing as a life too ruined to be good again. Even if you feel like your life is completely ruined, you can always turn things around and have a happy and successful life again. The next phrase contains an idiom. It's hit rock bottom. To hit rock bottom means to reach the lowest or worst point that you can imagine. In this scene, Chris Gardner tells his son that even though they might be going through a difficult period in their lives right now, this is not the end of their story. He tells his son that they will make it because he believes it to be true. Then he uses the phrase, "Do you want ever give up on yourself?" to remind him that no matter what happens in life, he should never stop believing in himself. He then shares an inspirational quote with his son. It's not what you look at, it's what you see. This teaches us to be aware of the power of our thoughts and beliefs. Even when things seem very difficult, we can still choose to believe in ourselves and our ability to succeed. Finally, Chris Gardner tells his son, there's no such thing as a life too ruined to be good again. This is a hopeful message for anyone who feels like they have made so many mistakes that there is no hope for them. But the truth is that we can always change our lives for the better, no matter how difficult things may seem. I think this scene is very powerful because it shows that even when things are at their hardest, we can still choose to be positive and to believe in ourselves. Chris Gardner's words to his son are very encouraging, and they teach us to never give up on our dreams. Now it's time for our mini practice section. Repeat after me. I know these sentences are quite long, but try your best to say them out loud. If you want to pause the video to repeat each sentence more slowly and carefully, that's fine. No one, don't ever forget, you are amazing. You're gonna make it. No, 2. No matter what happens, no matter how difficult things get, don't ever give up on yourself. No, 3. It's not what you look at, it's what you see. Number 4. There's no such thing as a life too ruined to be good again. Also, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Okay, now let's go back to the movie and watch the next part. Now it's time for our second pause. Let's look at some of the most important phrases and words. Look at you. Look how far you've come. This is a way of saying that you should be proud of yourself because you have accomplished a lot. You just have to trust the journey. This means that sometimes in life, we need to trust that everything will work out, even if we don't understand what is happening. You can do it. Believe in yourself. This is a way of telling someone that you believe that they can do something difficult. You are telling them that you think they are capable of doing it. At this moment, Chris Gardner has just secured an important job that will change his life and the life of his son. In this scene, he looks at his son and tells him to remember how far they've come and to never forget all that they've been through together. He encourages his son to trust the journey and to believe in himself. These are important lessons that we can all learn from this movie. Sometimes in life, we just need to trust that everything will work out even when things are difficult. We need to believe in ourselves and our ability to succeed. Again, it's time for our mini practice section. Repeat after me. No one, look at you. Look how far you've come. No. 2. You just have to trust the journey. No. 3. You can do it. Believe in yourself. Let's keep going. Now it's time for our third pause. Let's look at some of the most important phrases and words. Life is hard. Everyone will face big problems at some point in their life. However, it's important to remember that we can control how we react to the difficulties that life throws at us. We may not be able to choose what happens to us, but we can choose how we respond to those events. Asterisk, the decisions we make in response to challenging situations will determine the direction of our lives. Asterisk, don't ever give up on yourself. Never, never, never. As the movie comes to an end, Chris Gardner's son asks him, "Why do I have to work so hard?" Chris responds by explaining the realities of life. Life is hard. Everyone will face big problems at some point in their life. However, it's important to remember that we can control how we react to the difficulties that life throws at us. We may not be able to choose what happens to us, but we can choose how we respond to those events. The decisions we make in response to challenging situations will determine the direction of our lives. Chris then repeats the phrase, "Don't ever give up on yourself." Never, 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 to emphasize the importance of perseverance in overcoming challenges. Overall, this scene teaches us that while life will always throw challenges our way, it is our attitude and reactions to these challenges that will ultimately determine our success. It's time for our mini practice section. Repeat after me. No one. Life is hard. Everyone will face big problems at some point in their life. No. 2. We may not be able to choose what happens to us, but we can choose how we respond to those events. No. 3. Don't ever give up on yourself. Never, never, never. Now, it's time to watch the rest of the movie and see how Chris Gardner's story ends. Before we move on to the next movie scene, I want to talk about something really important. Learning English takes time and effort. Don't get discouraged if you don't see results immediately. Keep practicing and you will improve. Also, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are a natural part of the learning process, and they can actually help us learn and improve faster. It's time for our mini practice section. Repeat after me. No one, but you can't win unless you get out there and try. Now let's watch the rest of the movie and see how Rocky's story ends. Learning English is a journey, not a destination. Enjoy the ride and celebrate your progress along the way. I know you can do it. You've got this. Thanks for watching today. See you soon in the next video.
No more fear. Learn English and confidence with this movie trick in just 3 days. Just watch, repeat, and transform your English and your confidence at the same time. Do you know why? Because you have a fear of making mistakes. Well, stop it right now. This lesson is going to help you. Hey there, welcome back to WordCraft English. Today is an extra special day because today's lesson has the power to change your life. You heard that right. It's your turn to present in an important meeting, and suddenly your mind goes blank. That's why we've designed this lesson to be your ultimate toolkit for success. We're taking things to a whole new level by drawing inspiration from the world of cinema. You'll learn all this while expanding your vocabulary and improving your pronunciation. Prepare to be amazed as you witness the magic of cinema and language collide. It's time to take action. They are essential to our lesson. Show off your newfound confidence by using these phrases in your own sentences. Share them with friends or family and see how far you can take them. Words like training, disciplined, motivated, persistence, dedication, committed, prepared, focused, strength, power, and fight. These verbs are essential to our lesson, and understanding them will help you improve your English skills. In this movie, Eddie Mara, played by Bradley Cooper, discovers a drug called NZT48, which unlocks the full potential of his brain. Pay attention to these highlighted phrases. They encapsulate the essence of clear thinking and focused determination. Notice how Eddie uses precise and evocative language to express his thoughts and intentions. His internal monologue reveals his clarity of thought and unwavering resolve. Now, let's practice repeating these phrases together. Embrace the power of focused language and watch your communication skills soar to new heights. As he takes the drug, Eddie experiences heightened cognitive abilities, allowing him to excel in various aspects of his life. Show off your newfound confidence by using these focus-building sentences in your own conversations. Share them with friends or family and see how far you can take them. Click here to watch this video and keep watching WordCraft English videos to become fluent faster and learn English step by step. Goodbye! The possibilities are endless. So go forth and conquer the world of communication with your newfound confidence. He becomes a stock market guru, attracting the attention of both admirers and envious competitors. Congratulations! Just imagine, how much progress you can make in just 3 days. If you enjoyed today's lesson, show us some love by hitting that like button and subscribing to WordCraft English. Your support means the world to us. Together, let's continue this amazing journey of learning and self-discovery. Thank you for joining us today. This time from the inspiring film, The King's Speech. Notice how Lionel uses phrases like, "That's a good start," "Your Majesty," "Well done," "You're doing great." These words of affirmation are essential to our lesson, and understanding them will help you improve your English skills. Now let's practice repeating these phrases together. Embrace the power of focused language and watch your communication skills soar to new heights. In this scene, King George VI, played by Colin Firth, works closely with his speech therapist, Lionel Logue, to overcome his stammer. Through their sessions, Lionel encourages the king to embrace his unique speech pattern and deliver a rousing speech to the nation. The scene showcases the transformative power of positive reinforcement and the importance of accepting oneself. However, as Eddie delves deeper into the world of limitless potential, he faces challenges and risks associated with the drug's addictive nature. Now let's practice repeating these verbs together. Embrace the power of focused language and watch your communication skills soar to new heights. The possibilities are endless. Go forth and conquer the world of communication with your newfound confidence. Notice how Chris uses concise and impactful language to express himself clearly and confidently. His determination shines through as he communicates with others. Now let's practice repeating these phrases together. Say them out loud and feel the confidence surge within you. Remember, clarity and conciseness are key to effective communication. So embrace the power of focused language and watch your communication skills soar to new heights. Don't let another day go by without mastering the art of clear and confident communication in English. Join us on this exciting adventure and unlock the doors to endless possibilities. In this iconic scene, Rocky, played by Sylvester Stallone, trains relentlessly to prepare for his upcoming fight with Apollo Creed. Despite facing doubts and skepticism from others, Rocky remains committed to his training regimen, pushing himself to the limit both physically and mentally. There's so much more to explore. And remember, consistency is key. Practice these focus-building sentences every day for 3 days and witness the remarkable transformation in your English proficiency. His unwavering focus and determination serve as an inspiration to all who witness his dedication. Trust me, your English will never be the same again. Brace yourself for an unforgettable cinematic experience, combined with powerful English learning. This scene features Chris Gardner, portrayed by Will Smith in the movie The Pursuit of Happiness. Despite facing homelessness and financial struggles, Chris remains determined to secure a better future for himself and his young son. As he navigates the challenges of the job market, he encounters a series of obstacles that test his resilience and perseverance. However, through it all, Chris's unwavering focus on his goal keeps him moving forward. We'll analyze the best movie clips featuring unforgettable characters who embody the qualities of staying focused, overcoming shyness, and conquering fear. Through their inspiring journeys, you'll gain valuable insights and practical tips that you can apply to your own English communication skills. But here's the best part. All it takes is just 3 days of practice to see a remarkable transformation in your ability to speak English with confidence. Yes, you heard that right. Just 3 days. Imagine how much progress you can make in just 3 days. Your colleagues and customers will thank you for it. Or perhaps you're in the middle of a job interview and your confidence starts to waver. What about those times when you're having a conversation and suddenly you draw a blank? Unable to recall the right words, or even worse, you feel a wave of anxiety wash over you. Fear not, my friends, because today's lesson holds the key to helping you stay focused, overcome shyness, and conquer fear when speaking English. Are you tired of feeling nervous, anxious, or fearful when you speak English? Maybe you're even scared to speak English. Today we're diving into the art of staying calm and focused. conquering shyness and defeating fear in just 3 days. Get ready to unlock the secrets of effective communication and watch your confidence soar. Whether you're preparing for important presentations, facing job interviews, or simply want to become a better conversationalist, this lesson is your ultimate guide to speaking English with poise and precision. You want to know a secret? Even native speakers get nervous sometimes, but they don't let it defeat them. And neither should you. Because you do want to miss out on the incredible mini challenge that will fast-track your progress. Ready to embark on this transformative journey with me? Let's do this! Welcome to WordCraft English, where learning meets transformation. I'm here to support you every step of the way and make sure you stick around till the end of the video now. Do you ever find yourself freezing or losing focus when you speak English? Picture this. We've all been there before. We know what it feels like to face these challenges when communicating in English. But wait, there's more. This isn't your average English lesson. Oh no! And here's the icing on the cake. Without further ado, let's dive into our first powerful movie clip. Let's pay attention to these highlighted phrases. Next up, it's time to put your knowledge to the test. Moving on, we have another powerful movie scene from the legendary film Rocky. As we observe Rocky's focused actions, let's pay attention to the verbs he uses to describe his training. But our movie-inspired English adventure doesn't end there. Our next scene comes from the captivating film Limitless. Now let's shift our focus to the protagonist's internal monologue. Remember, true confidence comes from within. It's about embracing who you are and honing your skills to express yourself fearlessly. As we continue our journey, let's dive into another powerful movie scene. As we witness the king's progress, let us pay attention to the encouraging words and affirmations used by Lionel to motivate and support the king. Each word carries the weight of encouragement and belief in one's abilities. As we wrap up this unforgettable cinematic journey, it's time to put your knowledge to the test. So you made it to the end of today's lesson. So if you liked this video, you will love this one.
Have you ever compared yourself to others and thought, I'm not good enough? Well, that's exactly how Chris Gardner felt when he saw his friend making more money than him. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's lesson. I'm a teacher from an English learning platform, and our goal this year is to help you learn English faster, have fun, and reach your goals. So let's get started. Alright, now let us watch this scene from the movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, and pay attention to these 3 English phrases. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Jay, who's played by Will Smith, is a single dad. He and his young son Christopher are homeless, and they're sleeping at night in a subway station. One day he gets an interview at a prestigious brokerage firm, but he's told that they can't offer him the job until after 45 days of training, but there's a catch. They won't pay him during that time, and if he doesn't get a job offer at the end of it, then he's out of luck. This is a risk, but it could change their lives. So he decides to take the chance, and that's where this phrase comes in. Take the chance. When someone says that they're taking a chance, it means that they're doing something that has some risk, but they think it could be worth it in the end. For example, buying a lottery ticket is taking a chance. If you win, you get a lot of money. But most people don't win. In the scene, Jay has 2 options. He can either keep looking for a small apartment to rent and try to get a regular job, or he can take a chance and try to get a higher paying job even if he might not get paid for 2 months. Now you can see why taking a chance doesn't always mean a positive outcome, but it does mean that you did something instead of just sitting around and hoping that things would get better. To be honest though, it's not really a choice. His son needs him to do something, so he has no choice but to take the chance. As the days pass by, Chris Gardner starts to make a few sales, which means that he makes some money. But then he makes a big mistake. He tells his boss that he is doing well because he wants his boss to think that he doesn't need help. And that leads to the second important phrase, pay me back. When someone pays you back, it means that they do something nice for you in return. So imagine you lend your friend $20 and then later they pay you back. That means that they gave you that $20 back. But when it comes to what Chris's boss offers him, it's not so simple. At first, he thinks his boss is offering to help him by giving him an advance on his salary. But he soon realizes that this isn't an advance. It's actually a loan that he has to pay back. Loans are a way for people to borrow money with the promise that they'll pay it back over time, usually with a little bit of extra money called interest. Let's look at this phrase in a different way. Let's say you spend $50 on a taxi, but you don't have any cash. So you tell the driver, "Can I pay you back tomorrow?" In this case, he's asking if he can pay the $50 back the next day. And you can see why he would ask this. Because he's been through a lot. He's had to work hard, he's taken risks, and he wants to make sure that he gets what he wants. But all of this takes us to the third phrase, you owe me. When you say that someone owes you something, it means that they need to do something for you because you helped them or gave them something in the past. But it's not always used in a nice way. Sometimes it's used to threaten someone. For example, if you lend your friend $20 and then they don't pay you back, you can say, "Hey, you owe me $20. But in the movie, it's a little different. Chris's boss actually says this phrase to show that he understands what Chris is going through. He knows that Chris is working hard and he knows that Chris deserves a break, so he gives Chris this big project. In a way, it's like his boss is giving him an opportunity to earn a lot of money. It's like he's saying, "I know you've been working hard, so I'm giving you this project. And if you do well, then you'll earn a lot of money." It's like a big thank you for all your hard work. Now let's watch the scene again and listen for those three phrases. Alright, now let's talk about the life lesson. Jay was feeling pretty down when he saw his friend Raymond driving a nicer car than him. It made him feel bad about himself and his life. You know how sometimes you look at other people and think, "Wow, they have it so much better than me." Well, that's exactly what Jay was thinking. But then he realized something important. Comparing yourself to others is like comparing apples and oranges. Everyone's path is different. They have different backgrounds, experiences, and goals. So it doesn't make sense to compare yourself to everyone else. For example, you could compare yourself to a friend and think that they're smarter than you because they got a higher score on a test. But if you knew that they studied for 2 weeks before the test, you wouldn't feel that way anymore. You'd realize that their high score wasn't because they were smarter, it was because they worked harder. In the same way, you can't compare your whole life to a friend's Instagram photos. You don't know if they're happy or sad behind the scenes, so don't compare yourself to others. Instead, focus on your own path and celebrate your own successes, because in the end, that's what matters the most. If you want to remember these three phrases, the easiest thing you can do is use them in the comment section below. Just write a sentence using one of these phrases and I'll reply to you in English. Now, if you want to become fluent in English faster, we have some fantastic courses. There's a link in the description. Also subscribe to the channel. I promise that I won't send you spam emails. Instead, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Have you ever wondered what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary? It's not talent, not luck, not even a privileged start. It's something much deeper, something forged in fire. It's grit. Every extraordinary story starts with an ordinary heart that refused to give up. Welcome to WordCraft English, where today we're not just learning English. We're unlocking the power within you through the magic of movies. Let's dive into our first scene, a moment that defines struggle and hope. It's from Asterisk, The Pursuit of Happiness Asterisk, where Chris Gardner, played by Will Smith, is at his lowest point. He and his son are forced to sleep in a public restroom. He's holding the door shut, tears in his eyes, but he never lets go. He is protecting his son, but he is also protecting his dream. The key phrase here is hold on. It's simple, just 2 words, but it's packed with emotion. To hold on means to persevere, to not let go, especially in a difficult situation.
Notice how Will Smith's voice is just a whisper. He's trying not to wake his son, but also his strength is almost gone. Yet he holds on. In your life, when things get tough, what do you hold on to? Your dreams, your family. That's your anchor. Now, let's break down some powerful vocabulary from this scene. The word pursuit in the title is crucial. A pursuit is a long and determined effort to achieve something. It's not just a wish, it's an active chase. Pronounce it with me, pursuit. The stress is on the second syllable. Another word is happiness, spelled with a Y. In the movie, this spelling is from a mural and symbolizes that happiness is something you must earn something you pursue . It's a powerful visual metaphor. Think about Chris Gardner's situation. He's facing homelessness, financial ruin, and immense pressure. This is what we call adversity. Adversity refers to difficulties or misfortune. When you face adversity, you have two choices: give up or develop grit. Grit is passion and perseverance for long-term goals. It's the engine that drives you through adversity. Can you think of a time you showed grit? That's a story worth telling. Let's shift gears to a different kind of fight. The boxing ring in Rocky *. Rocky Balboa is not the most skilled boxer. He's an underdog, someone who is expected to lose. But he has something his opponents don't: a heart that won't quit. In the famous training montage, he's pushing his body to the absolute limit. He's running through the streets of Philadelphia before the sun is up, his breath fogging in the cold air. The iconic line from his coach, Mickey, is "You're gonna eat lightning and you're gonna crap thunder." This is a classic example of an idiom. It's not literal, of course. It means you're going to be incredibly powerful and fast. It's a way to use language to build someone up, to make them believe they are unstoppable. English is full of these colorful expressions that add emotion and power to your words. Let's analyze the language. Push through the pain. This phrase is central to Rocky's journey. To push through means to continue doing something even when it's incredibly difficult. The word pain here isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's the pain of being told you're not good enough. Rocky's entire training is a testament to this idea. Every step, every punch is an act of defiance against his own limitations. Another key term is underdog. An underdog is a competitor thought to have little chance of winning. Are you an underdog in your own story? Maybe in learning English, you feel like an underdog. You see others who seem to learn faster. But like Rocky, it's not about how you start. It's about your will to go the distance. This phrase means to finish something you started, no matter how long or difficult it is. That's grit in action. Now, let's look at a story of intellectual grit from the film Hidden Figures *. It tells the true story of 3 brilliant African-American women at NASA who were the brains behind one of the greatest operations in history. Katherine Johnson, one of the mathematicians, faces constant disrespect and obstacles. She has to run half a mile just to use the colored bathroom. But does she complain? No, she works harder. She proves her brilliance with numbers. In a powerful scene, her boss, Al Harrison, asks, "Where have you been?" She finally explains the exhausting reality of the segregated bathrooms. In that moment, he tears down the colored ladies' room sign, declaring, "Here at NASA, we all pee the same color." This is a turning point. But it didn't happen by chance. It happened because of Catherine's unrelenting excellence. Let's examine the vocabulary. Catherine demonstrates incredible resilience. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. It's toughness. Say it with me, Reese. Every day she faced prejudice, but she bounced back more determined than ever. She didn't let the injustice define her. She let her work speak for itself. Another important word is brilliance. Brilliance means exceptional talent or intelligence. Catherine's brilliance was undeniable. Even those who were prejudiced against her could not ignore her mathematical genius. Her story teaches us that your skills, your knowledge, your brilliance, these are your power. When you master a language like English, you are building your own form of brilliance. Think about the phrase, break down barriers. A barrier is something that blocks your way. Catherine didn't just break down a physical barrier, the sign on the bathroom door. She broke down social and professional barriers. She proved that talent has no race and no gender. How can learning English help you break down barriers in your own life? It can open doors to new jobs, new friendships, and new ways of understanding the world. So, what do these stories, a struggling father, a determined boxer, and a brilliant mathematician have in common? They all show us that the journey from ordinary to extraordinary is paved with grit. It's about holding on when you want to let go. It's about pushing through the pain when your body and mind scream, "Stop." It's about having the resilience to show up every single day, even when you're overlooked or underestimated. Learning English is a lot like that. Some days you'll feel like you're not making progress. You'll forget words, struggle with grammar, and feel shy to speak. That's your rocky moment. That's your pursuit of happiness moment. This is where you need grit. Every word you learn, every sentence you practice, is a step on that cold Philadelphia morning. Every conversation you dare to have is you holding the door to your dream. Your journey with English is not just about memorizing vocabulary. It's about finding your voice. It's about building the confidence to share your ideas, to connect with people, and to break down your own barriers. Like Katherine Johnson, your knowledge is your power. The more you learn, the more you build that power. And with that power, you can write your own extraordinary story. Never forget that every expert was once a beginner. Every hero was once an ordinary person who made a choice to keep going. The language of movies inspires us, but the language you are learning right now empowers you. Use it. Be brave. Make mistakes. Get back up. That is how you turn ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Thank you for joining us on this journey today. Remember, your story is waiting to be written, and you hold the pen. If you found this inspiring, don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear it. For more lessons where words build dreams and grit creates greatness, subscribe to WordCraft English. Keep learning, keep pushing, and we'll see you in the next video.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to this English lesson. I am here to teach you English with movies, and today we have a special lesson about how to stay humble and not show off. We will watch some short clips and learn what to say and not to say when you are successful. We will learn powerful quotes and how to use them correctly. You will understand better your personality type and how to communicate based on it. So let's get started. First of all, do you know that you are unique? Yes, you are special because no other person in the world has the same combination of looks, personality traits, and experiences. There are also people who are so talented and successful, but they don't even realize it. It shows his personal life and his professional successes and challenges. They are so busy focusing on other people's opinions that they never notice their own wins. Sometimes she asks him difficult questions. For example, here she talks about the changes in Steven's personality. Your behavior should be respectful. Don't forget that your actions can hurt people even if you don't mean to hurt them. Steven was once very enthusiastic about life. Now, after his diagnosis, he is more negative and depressed. Let success make the noise. This means that you don't need to boast about your success. You don't need to shout about it. Let your results speak for themselves. He spends all his time working. He isn't interested in their relationship anymore. He was adopted by an Australian couple when he was a child. He didn't know anything about his real family. When he grew up, he found some clues and tried to find his birth mother. But your actions speak for themselves. When you come back from Paris, people will ask, "Where were you?" Then you can share your experience. This is a story about a group of boys studying in a prestigious academy. This school has strict rules and traditions, so you can stop the video on any word or sentence. His name is John Keating, and he is a new teacher. He tries to bring some changes to the classroom and encourage students to think differently, to discover their potential. He teaches them that poetry is alive. Mr. Keating encourages them to be brave and stand up for themselves. He teaches them that life is unpredictable, and sometimes your fears prevent you from achieving your dreams. They don't need to draw everyone's attention to themselves. They know they are valuable. They are calm. Poetry can help them to see the beauty around them. It can help them to appreciate life. People will be asking you questions, and this is a nice way to share your happiness. What is power? What is true power? Pause the video and write down your thoughts. This is a true story about Michael Orr, a homeless teenager who becomes a famous football player. He faced many difficulties in his life. He had problems with the law. He couldn't read. His new mother, Leanne Tui, comes to him and says, "Do you know why God took pity on us and placed you here? He knew we needed you more than you needed us." And then Michael answers, "I don't think God had anything to do with this." Okay, what did Michael's mom say? She said that he was meant to be in their family. He was sent there. "I think you just found me on the side of the road and decided to take me in." She says, "No, honey, that's not true. You were meant to be here. You were sent here. And let me tell you something. I am honored to be your mother." We talked about how to be strong and confident without shouting and attracting attention to ourselves. And we discussed how to be humble and not to think that you are better than everyone else. And I'm so happy. How are they pronounced differently? Can you repeat after me? I am so happy. I'm so happy. What's the difference? Please don't forget to subscribe and follow me on social media. I'll be waiting for you next time. Bye. In the second option, I'm so happy. BM is silent. It's not pronounced I'm as a contraction of I am. In this case, it's pronounced I'm, but if we say I'm so happy, the M is silent. He lived with his grandmother and sometimes he had to sleep outside. The ship has weathered every rack. The prize we sought is won. The port is near. The bells I hear. The people all exulting. They taught him how to behave at good parties. Soon he became a star of the school team. Many universities wanted him to play for them. What does it mean? True power doesn't need to be shown. It's inside you. It's your inner power. While Follow I's the prize we sought with outstretched arms, other students join him and shout together. Why? Because people who are insecure and weak try to attract attention. He just found them on the street and decided to adopt him. Is that true? No, it's false. They want to be stronger, so they pretend to be tough. They think that showing off makes them look strong, but actually, it shows that they are weak. You can control your reactions to what happens around you. You are flexible and adaptable. And if you like this lesson, please give me a thumbs up. Even if you were adopted, you have a unique personality. You are special because you are you. Some people love to talk about their achievements. They really enjoy being the center of attention. Some people prefer to focus on others and put themselves down. If yes, then this lesson will help you to understand how to stay confident and keep your self-esteem high. And if you want to develop your inner power, learn English and speak English more often. This is the best way to strengthen your mind. It's a great workout for your brain. His friend says, "Did you have no feelings for them?" And Saru answers, "For most of my childhood, I thought my adoptive parents were my real ones." Just remember that every family is different and each person is unique. All families have problems. No family is perfect. But if you were adopted, you are lucky to have two families who love you. I only knew the name of my birth mother. That's all. I didn't know anything else about her. I didn't have a sense of belonging. I just felt different. I didn't belong. I used to sit on the veranda hoping someone would come looking for me. But that's not how things work. Nobody ever came. Nobody ever asked about me. What kind of person are you? Do you think you might be undervaluing yourself? It's like having an 80-year-old in an adult's body. You don't seem to care whether I go out or come home. You never ask about my day. You don't tell me about yours. When did we become such strangers? This is a great quote, and it's a good lesson for us. And if you are new here, please click subscribe and click the notification bell to receive every new lesson. All right, now let's begin. Our first scene is from the movie called The Theory of Everything. This is a movie about Stephen Hawking. Here we can see Jane, Stephen's wife. She is very independent and she doesn't just agree with everything he says. Jane tells him, "You were always pretty selfish, but now you're just blatantly so." Even if you are in a relationship and your partner doesn't do anything wrong, you still need to consider how you make them feel. Now let's move on to our next quote. For example, instead of saying, "Look at me, I'm so cool, I'm going to Paris," you say nothing. And by the way, if you want to pause the video and write down all the new words and quotes, there are timestamps below. Our next scene is from the movie Lion. Here's the main character. He is an Indian man looking for his family. Now he is talking to a friend about his childhood. Sometimes it takes years to find your place in the world, to understand who you are and where you belong. These are important years of discovering your identity. If you were adopted and want to find your biological family, that's okay. It's normal. The next scene is from the movie Dead Poets Society. Here we can see the main character. One day, one of the students stands up and shouts, "Oh, Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done." It's really inspiring to see young people expressing themselves. Now, let's move on to our next quote. The loudest one in the room is often the weakest. People who are truly confident and strong don't need to shout. The next quote is, "True power doesn't need to prove itself." When you are strong, you can control your emotions. Are you thinking about what kind of power you have? What are your strengths? Do you have inner power? I hope that you do.
What if one movie could teach you both how to live in the present and how to speak English more naturally? It's a very powerful and inspiring moral story told through scenes from an unforgettable film. You will learn how to speak English fluently while also discovering a life-changing lesson about being present in the moment. So let's start with scene 1. There are two young boys who work together building Lego structures. The first boy builds his part of the structure here on the table. The second boy sneakily uses his pieces to build something on the floor behind him. They finish their task, and the teacher asks each boy to show what he built. The first boy proudly shows off his creation, but when it's the second boy's turn, he can't show anything because he built it on the floor, and now someone has stepped on it. The teacher says, "Don't lie, the truth will catch up with you." Then she tells them to go clean up so they can start a new project. As they start to do this, the first boy explains to the second that he built his structure on the floor on purpose so he could say he forgot to bring something to school and get out of showing and getting in trouble for it. He then says, "I just did what you did last time." The second boy responds, "We aren't supposed to do that. We're supposed to be honest." The first boy argues that the teacher didn't even know what he built on the floor, so it's not like he lied or anything. The second boy says, "Still, we should tell the truth." They finished cleaning up, and the teacher gives them each a piece of paper and tells them to write what they learned today and to bring it back tomorrow. The next day, the boys return with their papers. The first boy wrote, "It's good to be clever," and the second boy wrote, "It's better to be honest." The teacher asks the first boy why he thinks being clever is good, but he doesn't have an answer. She then turns to the second boy and asks him why he thinks being honest is better. He answers, "Because if you lie, it feels like you're always running. But if you're honest, you feel free." The teacher is impressed by his answer and praises him, saying that sometimes being honest might not seem like the best choice, but it's always the right one. First, to build something on purpose means to do something intentionally or deliberately. For example, she studied hard on purpose to get a good grade on the test. Next, to sneakily do something is to do it in a way that is intended to be hidden or done without being noticed. For example, he sneaked into the party by hiding in the trunk of a car. To catch up with someone or something literally means to catch up to someone or something physically. But it can also mean to catch up to or find out the truth about someone's behavior or actions. Next, to step on something is to put your foot down onto something, usually by accident. For example, I didn't mean to step on your toes. To step on someone's dream or plan is to ruin someone's dream or plan, which is what happened to the second boy's structure. To lie means to purposely say something that is not true, and to get away with something means to successfully avoid being punished or caught for doing something wrong. To get away with something is a phrasal verb meaning to succeed in avoiding punishment or detection. And now, for the moral of the story. Sometimes it can be tempting to take shortcuts or to do things that are easier in the moment, even if they are not the most honest or ethical choice. But, as the second boy said, being honest is always the best policy. It can be difficult to be honest, especially when you think you might get into trouble or face other negative consequences. However, in the long run, by telling the truth, you don't have to worry about getting caught or facing the consequences of being dishonest. You also don't have to carry the burden of keeping a lie hidden. Being honest can also help you build trust and respect with others. When you are truthful and transparent in your communication, people are more likely to believe you and value your opinions and perspectives. This can lead to stronger relationships and more fulfilling interactions with those around you. Overall, being honest is an important value that can help you live a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Although it may sometimes be challenging, the benefits of honesty make it worth striving for. Now, let's move on to scene 2. A successful businessman enters a restaurant and is immediately seated. He takes out his phone and starts talking loudly to someone on the other end. But he says no and instructs her to tell his wife he'll be home as soon as possible. He then gets a call from his daughter, asking him to pick her up from soccer practice. He tells her to take a cab and have her mother pick her up instead. Frustrated, she hangs up on him. He then receives a text message from his wife, expressing her disappointment in him again and asking him to hurry up. Just then, the lady he was originally talking to approaches him and introduces herself. He apologizes for not recognizing her earlier, but she assures him it's okay and says she understands that he's busy. she pulls up a chair and sits down, telling him she saw him talking on the phone and could unhelp but listen in on the conversation. She explains that she's writing a book about men who have achieved success in business but failed in their personal lives, and asks if she can interview him. He initially tries to brush her off, but she persists and asks if there's anyone else he would like to suggest she interview. He tells her that he's too busy for such nonsense and she should ask his wife instead. She says that would be fair to his wife, as he's the one who chose his career over his family. He gets visibly uncomfortable and tells her to leave him alone and let him enjoy his meal. She calmly tells him that she understands and that he doesn't have to talk to her, but she still wants to interview him. She says she won't push him, but asks if he can at least let her buy his meal. He agrees, and she orders food for them both, sitting quietly while he eats. Afterward, she pays the bill and asks if he's ready to talk now. He tells her that his life isn't interesting and he's just lucky in business. She disagrees, saying that luck has nothing to do with his impressive career. He insists, but she stops him, telling him that she knows he wants to change things in his life and offers him the opportunity to share his story with her. He admits that he's unhappy with his life, but says he doesn't want to burden her with his problems. She replies, "Your problem is my business," and tells him he has a gift for making money and needs to use it to improve his life. Now, let's talk about some of the English used in this scene. First, to be seated means to be placed or situated in a particular position, usually in relation to other objects or people. For example, the students were seated in rows of desks facing the teacher. To get away with something means to do something wrong without being punished or caught. Next, to complain about something is to express dissatisfaction or annoyance about a situation or event. For example, she complained about the noise next door. To work on something means to spend time and effort trying to achieve a particular result. For example, he's been working on that painting for weeks. The phrase "to get along with someone" means to have a friendly and cooperative relationship with someone. For example, do you get along with your brother? To hang up on someone is to end a phone call by placing the receiver back on the hook. For example, she hung up on me after I told her the bad news. Next, to get into trouble is to experience negative consequences or punishment for doing something wrong. For example, he got into trouble for cheating on the test. To brush someone off means to treat someone as if they are not important or worthy of your attention. For example, he brushed off my concerns as unimportant. To persist means to continue doing something despite obstacles or opposition. For example, she persisted in her efforts to help others even when faced with criticism. To go out of one's way means to make a special effort to do something. For example, I went out of my way to buy your favorite cake for your birthday. And finally, to figure something out means to solve a problem or understand something that was previously unclear. For example, he spent hours trying to figure out how to fix the broken appliance. So, what did you think of this movie and its moral? Share your thoughts below. And remember, you don't have to be perfect to be amazing. Thanks for watching.
If you only take one thing away from this video today, I want it to be this. What if one mindset shift could transform your entire life? Imagine a world where anything is possible because you're no longer holding yourself back. That's the promise of today's lesson. Welcome to WordCraft English. And today, we're going to talk about the lesson, empty your mind. Have you ever heard this phrase before? Perhaps you've seen the movie The Karate Kid with Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita. If you haven't, You absolutely must watch it. It's an incredible story about a young man who goes from being a timid, bullied teenager to a confident young man who stands up for himself and others. And in the process, he finds peace and wisdom. In the movie, Mr. Miyagi, played by the great Pat Morita, is a karate master who teaches Daniel LaRusso, played by Ralph Macchio, more than just fighting techniques. He becomes a mentor, teaching him life lessons through parables, actions, and words. One of the most famous lessons that Mr. Miyagi teaches Daniel is to empty his mind. When Daniel first hears this, he doesn't really understand what it means. But as the movie progresses and he learns more about karate and himself, he begins to grasp the concept. But why should you empty your mind? What does it mean? And how can it change your life? Well, let me tell you, it's not just a movie trope. It's a life-changing philosophy. So let's unpack the meaning of empty your mind together. In essence, empty your mind means to free your mind from clutter, from negativity, from limiting beliefs and distractions. You see, our minds are constantly bombarded with thoughts, images, and information from the world around us. Some of these thoughts are helpful and can motivate us to achieve our goals. Others are negative and can hold us back from reaching our full potential. You might have some negative thoughts that are holding you back, such as, I'm not good enough, I don't have time to study, or I'm too old to learn a new language. These thoughts are like mental barriers that are preventing you from achieving your goal of fluency. So what do? You empty your mind of these negative thoughts. How do you do that? By replacing them with positive, empowering thoughts like I am capable of learning English fluently. I make time in my day to practice English. Or it's never too late to learn something new. When you start thinking these positive thoughts, you'll feel more motivated and inspired to take action towards your goal of fluency. You might start studying English more regularly, speaking English with native speakers, or watching English movies and TV shows. As you continue to think positively and take action, you'll begin to see progress towards your goal. So how exactly does this work? Well, our thoughts control our actions. If you think you can't do something, you won't even try. But if you believe in yourself and your abilities, you're much more likely to take action and achieve your goals. That's why it's so important to empty your mind of negative thoughts and replace them with positive ones. To truly empty your mind, you need to become aware of the thoughts that are running through it. Pay attention to the inner dialogue you have with yourself. Are you constantly criticizing yourself? Or are you being supportive and encouraging? Once you become aware of your thoughts, you can start to challenge their validity. Are they really true, or are they just limiting beliefs that you've held onto for too long? When you start questioning your thoughts, you'll begin to see them in a new light, and you'll realize that many of them are not helpful or true. And here's the kicker. Once you've identified these negative thoughts, it's time to let them go. Forgive yourself for any mistakes you've made in the past and focus on the present moment. Let go of any grudges or resentment you may be holding on to and choose to focus on the positive. Here's the best part. Fill your mind with positive, empowering thoughts. Replace those negative thoughts with affirmations that make you feel good about yourself and your abilities. Here are a few examples to get you started. I am strong and capable. I can achieve anything I set my mind to. I am grateful for all the blessings in my life. Repeat these affirmations daily and believe in the words you're saying. As you do this, you'll start to feel a shift in your mindset, and you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. You see, when your mind is clear and focused, you're much more likely to succeed in whatever you do. You'll be able to think more clearly, make better decisions, and take positive actions towards your goals. But don't stop there. Now that you've emptied your mind of negative thoughts and filled it with positive ones, it's time to put your newfound clarity to use. Set some goals for yourself, both short-term and long-term. Having goals gives you something to focus on, and it helps you stay motivated and on track. Write down your goals and review them regularly. This will help you keep them top of mind and remind you of what you're working towards. As you start working towards your goals, you'll begin to see progress and you'll feel a sense of accomplishment. This will motivate you to keep going, and eventually, you'll achieve your dreams. So remember, brothers and sisters, the power to transform your life is within your mind. Embrace the philosophy of empty your mind and watch as your potential knows no bounds. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Together, we can conquer any obstacle and achieve our wildest dreams. Until next time, keep your minds open, your hearts compassionate, and your spirits high. May the wisdom of empty your mind guide you towards a life of success, happiness, and fulfillment. Now let's take a closer look at the movie clip. In this scene, Daniel is training with Mr. Miyagi, and he's trying to perform a crane kick. He's struggling to get enough height on the kick, and he's frustrated. Mr. Miyagi stops him and tells him to empty his mind. Daniel doesn't really understand what Mr. Miyagi is talking about, but he tries to follow his advice. As he lets go of his frustration and his need to be perfect, he's able to relax and focus on the task at hand. And guess what happens? He lands the crane kick perfectly. Now let's break down some of the key points of this scene. First, we see that Daniel is struggling to let go of his ego and his need to be perfect. He is trying to force himself to do a difficult move, and he's getting frustrated when he could get it right. This is a common problem that we all face. We often try to force things to happen instead of going with the flow and trusting in the process. When we let go of our ego and our need to be perfect, we're able to relax and focus on the task at hand. This allows us to perform at our best and achieve our goals. Second, we see that Mr. Miyagi is able to help Daniel by simply telling him to empty his mind. At first, Daniel doesn't understand what this means, but he trusts Mr. Miyagi, and he's willing to try anything to improve his kick. This is the power of having a mentor or a coach who believes in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. When someone sees your potential, they can help you unlock it, even if you don't know how to do it yourself. Third, we see that Daniel is able to successfully land the crane kick after he empties his mind. This is the result of letting go of our ego and our need to be perfect. When we relax and focus on the task at hand, we're able to perform at our best and achieve our goals. The idea of empty your mind has been around for centuries. It's a universal truth that we can all relate to. We all struggle with negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, and distractions. But when we learn to let go of these things, we're able to relax, focus, and perform at our best. That's all for today. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Okay, and until next time, happy learning. Well, what's up, my friends? It's me, and welcome back to WordCraft English, where we learn English with the power of storytelling from movies. And today, we have an amazing topic: the secret power of consistency. In this lesson, we watch inspiring movie scenes that show us how important it is to stay committed to our goals. Even when things get tough, these characters never give up. They keep going because they know that hard work pays off. Just like with language learning, if you don't quit and you keep practicing, you will see results. Trust me. Now, before we dive into our first scene, let's take a look at some of the words and expressions we'll be learning. So get your notebooks ready and pay close attention. Oh, and by the way, if you've been following along with our movie series, I just want to say thank you for being part of the WordCraft community. You're awesome. And if you're new here, well, hey, I'm glad you found us. Come for the English and stay, because there's more to come. All right, let's get started. Now, before I show you the first scene, I'd like to share with you a famous movie quote about persistence. If you know the movie and the character, write the name in the comments below. But here it is. It's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and still keep moving forward. So who said that again? Anyone? Anyone in the comments? Come on. Yes, Rocky. It's Rocky Balboa. Wow. And what's the movie? Rocky. This is from the movie Rocky. Remember the story of Rocky? It's an iconic movie about determination and achieving your dreams. In the movie, Rocky is a small-time boxer who gets the opportunity of a lifetime to fight the world heavyweight champion Apollo Creed. Despite being underestimated and facing many challenges, Rocky trains hard, stays focused, and eventually wins the fight in a stunning upset. Rocky's journey teaches us the importance of perseverance, hard work, and never giving up on our dreams, no matter how difficult they seem. Okay, let's break down this quote. It's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and still keep moving forward. How much you can suffer and still keep moving forward. That's what it's about. What does how hard you hit mean? It means how strong or powerful you are in what you do. For example, if you're playing a sport like boxing or soccer, how hard you hit means how strong you can kick or punch. Or in life, it could mean how much effort you put into achieving your goals. However, Rocky says it's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit. To get hit means to be affected or injured by something unpleasant. We often use it in sports to describe when a player is hit by their opponent. But it's not just about physical pain. Getting hit can also mean to experience emotional or mental pain. Think about times when you face challenges or setbacks in your life. Maybe you tried to achieve a goal and failed, or you faced rejection or experienced a loss. These can all be considered getting hit. And the most important part comes next, and still keep moving forward. It's about moving forward, despite being hurt, despite the pain. When you face challenges, don't give up. Keep trying. That's the spirit of Rocky. So let's see this in action with a few examples. Example 1. Starting a business. Starting a business is hard work and requires a lot of dedication and passion. There will be ups and downs, successes, and failures, but the key is to keep going. Don't let the failures get you down. Learn from them and move forward. That's what it's about. Example 2. Losing weight. Losing weight can be a challenging journey. It takes time and effort. There will be days when you feel like giving up. But remember, don't let those tough moments stop you. Keep moving forward towards your goal of living a healthier life. Kidapa. Example 3. Learning a new language. Learning a new language can be frustrating at times. You may encounter grammar, rules, and vocabulary that confuse you, but don't get discouraged. Keep learning and practicing. One day, you will reach your fluency goals. That's what it's about. Now, before we move on to our next scene, let's practice. Repeat after me. How hard you hit. How hard you can get hit and still keep moving forward. How much you can suffer and still keep moving forward. That's what it's about. Now, let's move on to our second scene. Are you ready to meet the character Will Hunting? Will Hunting is one of the most loved characters in movie history. He was played by Matt Damon in the movie Good Will Hunting. This film is a beautiful story of self-discovery, personal growth, and chasing your dreams. Will Hunting is a young man from South Boston with a genius intellect. Despite his potential, he works as a janitor at MIT while battling inner demons and a troubled past. Through his friendship with a compassionate therapist and the support of his close friends, Wu confronts his emotional scars and realizes that his true happiness lies in embracing his intellectual gifts. With the help of his friends, Wu overcomes the challenges that have held him back and discovers the power of believing in himself. Now let's take a look at one of the memorable scenes from the movie. Will is talking to his friend Chucky about his feelings for a woman named Skylar. Will is unsure about his feelings and worries about pursuing a relationship with her. Let's listen to what he says. She doesn't know how I am. She doesn't know what I'm all about. Okay, she doesn't know about the things that make me, me. Okay? She doesn't know about the problems that I got. She doesn't know that I'm afraid she'll leave me. But that scares me. She might leave me, and then I gotta be by myself again. That scares me. Will feels like he's hiding parts of himself from Skylar. He worries that if she knew everything about him, especially his struggles and fears, she might not want to be with him. Now let's break down some of the expressions. She doesn't know how I am. It means that Skylar doesn't fully understand Will's personality or behavior. She doesn't know what I'm all about. He's saying that she doesn't really know him well enough to know his interests, his goals, and what makes him happy. She doesn't know about the things that make me, me. Here, Will is referring to the unique qualities, experiences, and aspects of his life that have shaped him into the person he is. These could include his background, hobbies, or even his flaws. She doesn't know about the problems that I got. Will is talking about the challenges and issues he faces in his life. These could be personal, emotional, or even financial problems that he's dealing with. She doesn't know that I'm afraid she'll leave me. Will is revealing his fear of abandonment or being left by Skylar. He's worried that she might not love him or no longer want to be in a relationship with him, which would cause him emotional pain. Yeah, but that scares me. She might leave me, and then I gotta be by myself again. Will is expressing how the thought of being alone again is frightening to him. It shows that he has a fear of commitment or being on his own. All right, now it's time for you to shine. Repeat after me. She doesn't know how I am. She doesn't know what I'm all about. She doesn't know about the things that make me, me. She doesn't know about the problems that I got. She doesn't know that I'm afraid she'll leave me. Whether it's learning a new skill, starting a new hobby, or working towards a long-term goal, consistency can help you achieve your dreams. Just like Rocky and Will, we need to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth and never lose sight of our aspirations. That's it for this lesson, my friends. I hope you enjoyed learning English with me. As we continue our journey through movies, remember to stay consistent and keep moving forward towards your language learning goals. I know you can do it. Now, it's time to say goodbye. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, okay? And don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next lesson. Until then, stay consistent, stay confident, and craft your future with WordCraft English.
When I was about 16 years old, I used to hang out at this internet cafe a lot. It is an old school place where you pay by the hour to use their computers. He was a young guy, probably around 15, and he had these big fat tears running down his face. I couldn't help but ask what was wrong. So I walked over and sat down next to him, and it was the perfect place for me to go if I wanted to play video games all day or chat with my friends online. This time he was sitting with a couple of other guys, and they were all laughing and having a good time. I was walking home from school when I saw him sitting on a bench in the park across from me. He was alone, and he was staring off into space. I walked over and sat down next to him. You can stay over for dinner too. My mom makes great food. He looked up at me and smiled. Really? Thanks, he said. Sure, honey, she said. No problem. Then I hung up. I couldn't wait for my friend to meet my mom. She is one of the most caring people I know, and I knew she would do anything to help him. Your mom is amazing. I feel so much better now. No problem, I said. Anytime, man. He was always smiling and laughing, and he never mentioned his ex. I knew he had finally moved on. He gave me a big hug, and then he left. That would be great. I gave him my address and told him to come over at noon. He nodded and said, "Okay, see you tomorrow." Then he got up and left. Show them how much you appreciate them and be there for them when they need you just as they have been there for you. He shrugged. I don't know, he said, and who are always there for you when you need them. True friends accept you for who you are and don't try to change you. If you liked it, please hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can also follow us on social media for more language learning tips and resources. I'll see you next time. They're always honest with you, even if the truth is not what you want to hear, and they're willing to help you through thick and thin. I guess I just had to stop thinking about her. It wasn't easy, but I did it. Well, I'm glad you're okay now, I said. Me too, he replied, and I want to thank you for helping me. If it wasn't for you, I don't know if I would have been able to get over her so easily. No problem, I said. Anytime, man. I was just happy that he was my friend, and I knew that no matter what happened, he would always be there for me just like I would be there for him. Hey, I said, how are you? He jumped and turned to look at me. Oh, hey, he said. didn't see you there. I welcomed him into my house and introduced him to my mom. She gave him a big hug and told him, "Make yourself at home." Then I showed him to the guest room where he could change and freshen up. Before we played video games. "What's wrong?" I asked. "You okay?" He sighed and looked away. "No, I'm not okay," he admitted. "I haven't been okay since you broke up with me. I mean, I thought I was getting better. But then I saw her today, and I don't know." I started crying again. "Where did you see her?" I asked. He saw me and he waved. "Hey, thanks again for the other day," he said. "It really helped me feel better. She was with that guy she broke up with me for. I don't know what to do. I still love her." I could tell he was being honest. When someone loves someone, they can't help but think about them all the time. The person you have feelings for is always on your mind and you can't focus on anything else. That's what was happening to him. He was so in love with his ex that he couldn't move on. "No problem," I replied. "How are you holding up? Have you gotten over your ex?" He nodded. "Yeah, I think so," he said. "It still hurts a little bit, but not as much as before." Just then, one of his friends nudged him and whispered something in his ear. The guy's face suddenly fell. Afterwards, we played some more video games and talked about everything and nothing. It was just a fun, relaxing day, and I could tell he was enjoying himself. "Oh, sorry," he said to me. "I gotta run, see ya." He got up and ran out of the cafe without even saying goodbye. I thought it was weird, but I didn't think much of it. Maybe he had to go somewhere important or something. One day when I was there, I saw a kid sitting at one of the computers crying. "What's the matter?" I asked. "Why are you crying?" The guy looked up at me and responded in broken English. "My girlfriend just broke up with me. I can't believe it. I thought she loved me." I felt bad for him because I had just gone through a breakup myself. So I tried to comfort him by putting my arm around his shoulder. "Don't worry," I said. "You'll get over it. There are plenty more fish in the sea." He looked up at me and smiled weakly. "Thanks," he said, "but I don't know. I feel like I'm never gonna find someone as special as her." I knew exactly how he felt. When you go through a breakup, it's hard to think that you're ever going to be happy again. Everything reminds you of the person you lost, and it seems impossible to move on. I stayed with him for a while, trying to cheer him up and make him laugh. We talked about video games and girls and everything else that teenage boys talk about. And slowly but surely, he started to feel better. By the time his hour was up and he had to leave, he was actually smiling again. "Thanks for listening," he told me. "It really helped me feel better." I waved as he left, and that was the end of it. I never saw him again, or so I thought. A few weeks later, I was hanging out at the same internet cafe when I saw him again. But a few days later, I saw him again at the mall. He replied. Then I had an idea. I told him, "Listen, why don't you come over to my house tomorrow and we'll play some video games or something?" As soon as he was gone, I called my mom and told her I was bringing a friend over for dinner. The next day, he showed up right on time. We spent the afternoon playing Mario Kart and eating snacks, and then my mom made us an amazing dinner. But when it was time for him to go home, I could tell he was sad. "Thanks for everything," he told me. I didn't see him again for a few weeks, but when he did show up, he was in a much better mood. One day when we were hanging out at my house, I asked him how he had gotten over his ex so quickly. Friendships like that are rare and valuable. It is important to surround yourself with people who make you feel good about yourself. So if you're lucky enough to have a friend like that in your life, never take them for granted. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Word by Word.
In a forgotten corner of the countryside, where time seems to stand still, there lies a quiet town shrouded in mist and mystery. The air hangs heavy with secrets, and the whispers of the past echo through empty streets. It is here, dear listener, that our tale unfolds. A weary traveler, seeking respite from the long journey, stumbles upon an old Its weathered facade speaks of bygone eras, paint peeling like memories fading away. Dust motes dance in the feeble light, swirling like lost spirits. An innkeeper materializes from the shadows, face etched with lines of untold stories. Their eyes, dark and unreadable, regard the traveler with an unsettling stillness. The traveler hesitates, hand hovering over the tarnished brass. A chill runs down their spine, but exhaustion wins out. The door creaks open, revealing a dimly lit welcome. The innkeeper murmurs, voice barely above a whisper. We don't get many visitors these days. The woman's gaze holds them captive, filled with an eternity of loneliness and silent pleading. Her dress is white, pristine against the gloom. She doesn't move, doesn't breathe, but her eyes. Fumbling hands search for matches, desperate to banish the darkness. When light finally flares to life, the corner is empty. No sign of the woman remains. The innkeeper is nowhere to be found. In the harsh light of day, the guest house looks even more decrepit, as if it's crumbling before their eyes. Her eyes are wide open, staring unblinkingly at the paralyzed traveler. The old willow creek Inn, it's been abandoned for years. No one stayed there since. But as night deepens, a subtle unease begins to creep in. A presence, cold and watchful, seems to hover just beyond sight. The traveler follows their gaze, heart freezing as they spot a familiar figure in white, staring down at them, eyes wide open, as if watching everyone who dares to forget her. Her eyes, impossibly wide, seem to bore into their very soul. Got sick and died, all alone in that room. No family came to claim her. It's a living thing, that silence, pressing against eardrums and filling lungs with the weight of unspoken tales. Backward, each hollow sound marks a moment slipping away, time unraveling like a spool of thread. In the guest book, faded ink blossoms anew, names appearing and vanishing in an endless cycle of arrival and departure. What does she see with those forever open eyes? The parade of lives passing by, oblivious to her presence. Or maybe those memories have faded, leaving only the aching emptiness of forgotten existence. Does she long for rest, for the peace of true oblivion? They'll feel a pull, an inexplicable urge to step across the threshold and climb those creaking stairs. As they settle into a bed long, cold, they'll catch a glimpse of white in the corner, a flash of eyes in the darkness. Or has she become something else entirely, a being sustained by the very act of watching, of bearing witness to the ebb and flow of time? The living and the dead, the remembered and the forgotten, will share a silent communion. But a part of them will remain behind, caught in the web of the woman's eternal vigil, always watching, always remembering, her eyes forever open, bearing witness to the stories that slip through the cracks of history. Listen to the whispers on the wind. They just want to be remembered. And she will continue her watch, eyes ever open, a silent guardian of memories too stubborn to fade completely. And in that instant, the woman in white will feel a spark of warmth, a fleeting reminder of what it means to be seen, to be acknowledged. It whispers in the rustling of leaves, in the creak of old floorboards, in the shadows that stretch long as twilight falls, in the spaces between heartbeats, in the silence between words. You might hear her call, and if you're brave, or perhaps foolish enough to answer, you may find yourself face to face with eyes that have seen eternity until then. She remains a guardian of forgotten tales, a keeper of lost time, a silent sentinel in a world that rushes ever forward, leaving too many stories untold in its wake, with a gaze that will haunt your dreams long after you've left this place behind. A reminder that some things refuse to be forgotten, that some spirits cling to the edges of our world, longing for nothing more than a moment of recognition, or something beyond, a realm where the boundaries between past and present, life and death, blur into meaninglessness. In rooms long abandoned, dust settles on surfaces untouched by living hands. Ghostly petals dance on invisible currents, a spectral ballet visible only from the corner of one's eye. Look too closely, and they dissolve like morning mist. Yet somehow, impossibly, a mirror reflects a face that isn't there when you turn to look. Lovers whisper promises beneath starry skies, never noticing the pale face that watches with a mixture of longing and sorrow. The elderly sit on creaking porches, sharing tales of the old days, their words carried on the breeze, two ears that strain to remember the sound of human voices. The traveler shivers, feeling the weight of unseen eyes upon them. Now she waits, watching. Shadows deepen in the corners of the room, taking on strange, shifting shapes. And in the deepening shadows, a woman in white sits motionless, her eyes forever open, waiting for the next unwary soul to stumble upon her forgotten story. "Excuse me," the traveler calls out, voice hoarse. "I stayed here last night." But the candle on the nightstand flickers without a breeze, casting writhing shadows on the walls. In the hallway beyond, footsteps echo, slow, deliberate, approaching and then fading away. The traveler nods, too tired to question the strange atmosphere. They follow the innkeeper up creaking stairs, floorboards groaning beneath their feet as if in protest. The door closes with a soft click, leaving the traveler alone in the oppressive silence. The room is small, sparsely furnished, with faded wallpaper that seems to ripple in the candlelight. "Sleep well," the innkeeper says, lips barely moving. At first, all seems normal. The traveler settles into bed, grateful for the promise of rest. The traveler sits up, heart pounding. Was that a whisper carried on the still air? And then, they see her. In the far corner, barely visible in the guttering candlelight, sits a woman. Time stretches, warps. The traveler can't look away, can't even breathe. A floorboard creaks, the candle sputters out. In the sudden darkness, the traveler's ragged breathing is deafening, but the chill lingers. A phantom touch against skin. Dawn breaks, pale and sickly. The traveler, sleepless and shaken, hurries downstairs. A villager passes by, giving the traveler a curious look. The villager's face pales. "That's not possible," they whisper. Their words trail off, eyes darting nervously to the upper windows. "She was still there when I left," the traveler murmurs, unable to look away. The villager crosses themselves, muttering a prayer. Some say she was a guest, long ago. A chilled wind whips through the street, carrying the faintest echo of a woman's sigh. "Some spirits don't want revenge," the villager says softly, backing away. "They just want to be remembered." As darkness falls once more over the quiet town, a single candle flickers to life in an upper window of the abandoned guest house. The night deepens, and with it, the silence grows. The old clock in a foyer, its mechanism rusted and still, begins to tick. Outside, the wind whispers through overgrown gardens, carrying the scent of flowers long since withered. The woman in white remains, a constant in a world of shifting shadows. Her vigil never wavers, her gaze never falters. Perhaps she remembers the warmth of sunlight on skin, the taste of fresh bread, the sound of laughter. In the village below, life goes on. Children play in sunlit streets, unaware of the eyes that follow their movements from shadowed windows. And sometimes, on nights when the moon hangs low and mist cloaks the land, a traveler might find themselves drawn to the crumbling guest house on the hill. For a moment, just a heartbeat, two worlds will touch. Come morning, the traveler will flee, shaken and changed. In this quiet town, where time moves strangely, where the veil between worlds grows thin, her story lingers. So listen closely, dear traveler, as night, for in this forgotten corner of the world, where time bends and memories refuse to die, she waits, and who knows, perhaps one day, someone will remember her name, will speak it aloud and break the spell of her endless vigil. So the next time you pass an abandoned building, its windows dark and empty, pause for a moment.
To boys, one stone and a life-changing lesson. Hey there, my name is Name. This is WordCraft English, and today I am going to teach you how to speak and understand the English from this touching short film. Okay, here's a question. Do you know how much your life is worth? You can pause and think about that for a second. You'll see how native speakers show what they mean with their body language and facial expressions, and you will learn more than 30 useful phrases. If you do that, you won't miss out on any of our new lessons, and you'll be helping us bring more stories like this to even more people around the world. Let's jump right in. Jaden's character looks up to his father and wants to be part of his group and spend time with him. Larry didn't understand what Alex was asking, so he just looked at him and shook his head. Alex smiled and said, "It's simple. You throw a rock as far as you can. Whoever throws it the farthest wins. Run and kick it with your foot like I showed you." Alex walked over to Larry and put his arm around his shoulder.
He said, "You're pretty good at this. I guess your life is worth at least one stone." Huh? They spent all their free time together playing sports and hanging out. You'll see how native speakers show what they mean with their body language and facial expressions. Larry no longer felt worthless or unhappy. He knew that his life was worth a lot because he had a friend who valued him for who he was. It's completely free, and I promise you won't get any spam emails from us. And that's the end of the story. This word comes from the phrase, "the further you kick it, the more your life is worth." Can you guess what it is? Of course, it's the word farther. And it means at a greater or further distance. For example, I can run faster than you, but I can't run farther. Larry was confused. He didn't understand what Alex meant. Thank you so much for watching and learning English with me. I hope you enjoyed this touching story and learned something new. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. And if you want to practice your listening skills and receive more stories like this, sign up for our free newsletter. The link is in the description below. I wish you all the best in your English learning journey. May your life be filled with happiness, success, and all the English lessons you need to achieve your dreams. Until next time, take care and keep practicing your English. Bye-bye. Alex explained, every time you kick the rock, your life becomes more valuable. The farther you kick it, the more your life is worth. Larry thought about this for a moment. He realized that what Alex was saying was true. Whenever he managed to kick the rock farther, he felt better about himself. He felt like he was capable of achieving great things. That's how you throw a rock far. Larry took a deep breath, nodded his head, and then charged forward and kicked the rock with all his strength. As the sky turned orange and pink, they finished their game. Alex said goodbye to Larry and promised to see him again tomorrow. Larry went home feeling happy and proud. He couldn't stop thinking about what Alex had told him. He kept replaying the scene in his mind over and over again. He thought about how his life had changed in just one afternoon. It flew through the air and landed farther away than Alex's throw. All the kids stared at him in surprise. Even Alex couldn't believe Larry had beaten him. Larry felt a surge of pride and joy. For the first time in his life, he felt like he was part of a team and that he was valued and appreciated by his peers. When Alex asks Larry this, he does it with a big smile on his face. His eyebrows are raised and he has a playful tone in his voice. He's not actually trying to find out the monetary value of Larry's life. He's trying to invite him to play a game. Asterisk the next phrase is it's simple. You throw a rock as far as you can. Whoever throws it the farthest wins. Alex says this with a big grin on his face. He's excited to play the game with Larry, and he believes that he's going to win. Asterisk later on, Alex says, don't just throw it. Run and kick it with your foot like I showed you. This time, Alex has a serious expression on his face, and he speaks in a calm and reassuring tone. Asterisk finally, after Larry kicks the rock farther than Alex, he says, you're pretty good at this. I guess your life is worth at least one stone. Huh? Alex says this with a big smile on his face. He's happy for Larry, and he's proud of him for improving his kicking skills. At first, Larry didn't want to play this game. He thought it was silly and pointless. But Alex insisted, so Larry agreed to play. It's a very touching moment. I highly recommend you watch that movie if you haven't seen it already. And if that's not enough, stick around to the end of the lesson, because I've got a special gift for you. Okay, now let us dive into this incredible short film and find out how the boys found the answer to this important question. It flew through the air and landed way down the path. Then it was Larry's turn. He picked up the rock and closed his eyes. When he threw it, the rock barely moved. All the other kids started laughing at him, but Alex stopped them and said, "Wait, it's his first time playing. Let him try again." Larry was grateful for Alex's kindness, but he still felt embarrassed. He tried again, but this time his rock rolled off the path and landed in the grass. The other kids laughed even harder. Larry's cheeks burned with shame. He wanted to run away, but he knew if he did, everyone would laugh and tell him he was a coward. So he stayed where he was and tried to throw the rock again. In today's episode, we're going to look at some great ways to talk about value. Before we get started, remember that if you love learning English and you love movies like this one, give us a like and subscribe to our channel. A long time ago, in the middle of a busy city, there were two boys who lived in different worlds. They went to the same school, but never talked to each other. The first boy, whose name was Larry, always felt that he wasn't good enough. He thought he was worthless. He believed that his life had no value. This made him feel really sad inside. The other boy, whose name was Alex, was the opposite. He was popular, happy, and confident. He thought he was awesome and that his life was worth a lot. One day after school, Larry was walking home when he saw Alex and his group of friends. They were skipping stones across the water in a nearby park. Larry wanted to join them, but he didn't have the courage. He stood there watching them and wishing he was part of their group. After a while, Alex noticed Larry looking at them. He called out to him and invited him to play. Larry couldn't believe it. He thought maybe Alex had finally noticed him. But then something strange happened. Alex said, "Hey, you there, come over here. We're playing a game." Larry hesitated for a moment, but then he walked over to them slowly. Now, if you've seen the movie The Pursuit of Happiness starring Will Smith and Jaden Smith, you may remember a similar scene in the beginning of the movie. When Larry got closer, Alex said, "Can you see that rock I just threw? That one? Well, how much is that rock worth?" Alex grabbed a small flat stone and threw it as hard as he could. This time, Alex said, "Hey, don't just throw it." Then something unexpected happened. So Larry and Alex continued playing until the sun began to set. From that day on, Larry and Alex became best friends. Now let's look at some of the key phrases from this touching story. Asterisk the first phrase is "How much is your life worth?" If you enjoyed this story and would like to receive more content like this directly to your email inbox, click the link in the description below. And now it's time for our word of the day. And that brings us to the end of today's lesson.
Step into the world of storytelling and embark on a journey of language, learning through the moving tale of an elderly woman who discovers joy in life as most challenging moments. This heartwarming English lesson, presented in a cinematic style, will not only enhance your language skills but also touch your heart and inspire you to find happiness in any situation. As we delve into this captivating story, you'll have the opportunity to immerse yourself in natural English phrases and expressions. The narrative unfolds at a gentle pace, allowing you to absorb every word and nuance. With subtitles provided, you can follow along easily, connecting the spoken words to their written form. But this isn't just any ordinary English lesson. It's a profound exploration of life's wisdom, wrapped in the warm embrace of storytelling. As you follow the old woman's journey, you'll uncover valuable lessons about resilience, gratitude, and the art of finding joy in the simplest of things. Picture yourself sitting in a cozy room, the soft glow of a lamp illuminating the wrinkled face of our protagonist. Her eyes, though aged, sparkle with a youthful zest for life. As she begins to speak, her voice carries the weight of years lived and lessons learned. "My dear," she says, her tone warm and inviting, happiness isn't something that happens to you. It's something you choose every single day. As you listen to her words, you'll notice how naturally English flows from her lips. Pay attention to the rhythm and intonation, the way she emphasizes certain words to convey meaning. This is real, authentic English, the kind you'd hear in everyday conversations. The old woman continues her tale, recounting moments of hardship and triumph. She speaks of losing her husband at a young age, of raising children alone, of facing financial struggles. Yet, with each challenge, her smile grows wider, her voice more animated. You see, she explains, leaning in as if sharing a secret, the key to happiness is gratitude. Even in the darkest times, there's always something to be thankful for. As you listen, you'll encounter new vocabulary words naturally woven into the narrative. Words like resilience, perseverance, and contentment take on new meaning as they're illustrated through the old woman's experiences. The story takes an unexpected turn. As the old woman describes a particularly difficult period in her life, she lost her job, her home, and found herself living on the streets. It's at this point that you might expect her to break down, to admit defeat. But instead, her eyes light up with an almost mischievous glint. That was when I learned the true meaning of freedom, she says, her voice filled with wonder. I had nothing, and yet I had everything. The sky was my roof, the park bench, my bed, and every stranger, a potential friend. Through her words, you're not just learning English, you're gaining a new perspective on life. You're re-seeing the world through the eyes of someone who has mastered the art of finding joy in every situation. As the story progresses, you'll find yourself hanging on every word, eager to improve your listening skills while also yearning to know what happens next. The old woman's tale is peppered with idiomatic expressions and colloquialisms, giving you a taste of how English is truly spoken in everyday life. Life, she muses, is like a cup of tea. It's all in how you make it. With each anecdote, each life lesson shared, you'll find your vocabulary expanding, your comprehension improving, and your pronunciation becoming more natural. The visual storytelling aspect of this lesson helps to cement these new language skills in your mind, creating lasting connections between words, meanings, and emotions. The old woman's story reaches its climax as she recounts her greatest challenge yet, facing a life-threatening illness. But even here, in the hospital bed, surrounded by beeping machines and worried faces, she found a reason to smile. I looked out the window, she recalls, her voice soft but clear, and saw a tiny bird building its nest. In that moment, I realized that life goes on, always. And as long as there's life, there's hope. And where there's hope, there's joy. As you listen to her words, you'll notice how your own English comprehension has improved. The subtitles, once a necessary crutch, now serve more as a confirmation of what you're hearing and understanding on your own. The old woman's story begins to wind down, but the lessons it imparts linger in the air like the last notes of a beautiful song. She leans back in her chair, a contented smile playing on her lips. So, my dear, she concludes, remember this: happiness is not a destination. It's not something you achieve once and then you're done. It's a journey, a daily choice, a way of looking at the world. As the story comes to a close, you'll realize that you've gained far more than just improved English skills. You've been given a masterclass in resilience, in finding joy in the face of adversity, in choosing happiness no matter what life throws your way. This emotional movie-style English lesson has taken you on a journey through language and life. You've practiced listening with subtitles and slow speech, learned natural English phrases and expressions, and discovered profound life lessons about happiness and resilience. But more than that, you've experienced the power of storytelling in language learning. You've seen how words can come to life, how they can paint pictures, evoke emotions, and convey deep truths about the human experience. As you reflect on the old woman's wisdom, you'll find that your own English vocabulary has expanded. Words and phrases that once seemed challenging now flow more naturally. Your pronunciation has improved as you've mimicked the rhythms and intonations of the storyteller. This is the magic of learning English through storytelling. It engages not just your mind, but your heart as well. It creates connections that go beyond grammar rules and vocabulary lists, tapping into the very essence of human communication. So, as you continue your English learning journey, remember the old woman's secret to happiness. Approach each lesson, each conversation, each new word or phrase with gratitude and joy. Find happiness in the process of learning, in the small victories, and even in the challenges. And remember, Just as the old woman found joy in every situation, you too can find joy in every step of your language learning journey. Every new word learned, every sentence understood, every conversation held in English is a triumph to be celebrated. So, keep listening, keep practicing, keep immersing yourself in the beautiful world of English storytelling. For in these stories, you'll find not just language skills, but life lessons that will stay with you long after the words have faded. Subscribe to WordCraft English, where words truly come to life through story, emotion, and language mastery. Here, every lesson is an adventure, every story, a stepping stone to fluency. Join us, and let's continue this beautiful journey of language and life together.
Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to WordCraft English. Today I have prepared a very special video for you. It is an emotional and inspirational short film. So get ready for an incredible English learning experience. In this video, you will learn how to wake up early step by step and what happens if you do it. You'll also hear some cool English phrases and expressions and learn some new vocabulary words. Let's jump right into the video. Before we start our life-changing movie, let me ask you a question. Do you have a hard time waking up early in the morning? Are you someone who hits the snooze button over and over again? Or maybe you wake up early, but you want to know how to make it even better. Well, stay with me because today's video is exactly about that. So this video is for those who love stories and movies. After watching this video, you can say that you learned some new words, but most importantly, you watched a great movie. But don't worry if you don't like movies. I have something for you too. There are so many things to learn. If you want to improve your English and start speaking faster, sooner, go to the link in the description box below and sign up. And then you'll receive an email with a link to download my favorite free application. With this app, you can watch all kinds of videos in English and translate them into your native language without internet connection. Also, you can use it to listen to English audiobooks and podcasts. You can read and listen to anything you like and learn new words. To learn new words, just click the word and save it to your vocabulary list. This is a great way to build your vocabulary and improve your grammar skills. Bye! The best part is that the app is completely free. So sign up now and start improving your English today. Our story begins with a young man named John. He was intelligent, funny, and popular among his peers. But there was a problem in John's life. He struggled to wake up early in the morning. No matter how much effort he made, he always woke up late. Waking up early was a serious problem for him because he was a student. When he was still in school, he would often be late for classes or miss them entirely. As a result, he started failing his exams. His parents were deeply worried about him. They talked to him for hours, trying to convince him to wake up early. But unfortunately, they didn't succeed. Nothing changed. John continued sleeping until late hours, and waking up early was a big challenge for him. One day, John's parents decided to take him to see a wise monk who lived deep in the mountains. Monk was famous for his wisdom and helping people solve their problems. John's parents hoped that the monk could help their son and fix his sleeping habits. When they arrived at the mountain monastery, they asked the monk to help John. The monk listened to them and said, "I can help your son, but he must complete one task every day for 40 days. Parents agreed to the monk's proposal without hesitation. So the monk sent John to the highest and coldest place in the monastery, where no one had ever stayed before. The monk gave him a small candle, a matchbox, and a Bible, and told him to stay there for 40 days and not leave. On the first day, John struggled a lot. It was cold and windy outside, and he felt lonely. He tried lighting the candle using the matches, but the wind kept blowing it out. After several attempts, he gave up and sat down to read the Bible. As night fell, he became even colder and began to regret his decision to come to the monastery. He missed his warm bed, soft blanket, and his family's love. Just when he thought he couldn't take it anymore, he remembered the wise monk's words and decided to keep going. The next day, John woke up feeling refreshed and full of energy. He quickly lit the candle and started reading the Bible. Time passed quickly, and the days went by. Each day he woke up earlier than the day before and went to bed earlier, too. The candle burned steadily, casting its warm glow around him. He began to enjoy his time alone and found peace and quiet in the solitude. As the 40th day approached, John's transformation amazed everyone. He began to wake up before sunrise and spend his days praying, reading, and reflecting on his life. He realized that the real reason he had trouble waking up early was not because his body couldn't, but because his mind refused to. He understood that his mind was filled with negative thoughts and distractions that made him lazy. But during those 40 days, he learned to control his mind and focus on his goals. Now he woke up every morning with a sense of purpose and determination. When the 40th day arrived, John went to see the wise monk. "You have completed the task, but now you need to return home and face your problems," the monk said. John thanked the monk for his help and returned home feeling confident. He applied the lessons he had learned to his studies and was able to improve his grades significantly. He also developed good habits and was no longer lazy. Most importantly, he found peace and happiness within himself. John's story shows us that waking up early is not just about discipline or willpower. It's about having a purpose and the courage to follow through on it. We all have the ability to achieve great things, but we must first believe in ourselves and our own abilities. Let's watch this video once again and pay attention to useful phrases and words. Well, do you remember John from our story? What did he do? Why? And most importantly, what happened next? Well, let's find out. At first, John struggled a lot. The weather was cold and windy. It was windy outside. The wind blew out the flame of the candle. The wind blew out the flame of the candle. He felt lonely. He felt lonely. His heart ached from loneliness. His heart ached from loneliness. He missed his warm bed, soft blanket, and his family's love. He missed his warm bed, soft blanket, and his family's love. He tried lighting the candle using the matches, but the wind kept blowing it out. He tried lighting the candle using the matches, but the wind kept blowing it out. After several attempts, he gave up and sat down to read the Bible. After several attempts, he gave up and sat down to read the Bible. As night fell, he became even colder and began to regret his decision to come to the monastery. As night fell, he became even colder and began to regret his decision to come to the monastery. He missed his warm bed, soft blanket, and his family's love. He missed his warm bed, soft blanket, and his family's love. Just when he thought he couldn't take it anymore, he remembered the wise monk's words and decided to keep going. Just when he thought he couldn't take it anymore, he remembered the wise monk's words and decided to keep going. The next day, John woke up feeling refreshed and full of energy. The next day, John woke up feeling refreshed and full of energy. He quickly lit the candle and started reading the Bible. He quickly lit the candle and started reading the Bible. Time passed quickly and the days went by. Time passed quickly and the days went by. Each day he woke up earlier than the day before and went to bed earlier, too. Each day he woke up earlier than the day before and went to bed earlier, too. The candle burned steadily, casting its warm glow around him. The candle burned steadily, casting its warm glow around him. He began to enjoy his time alone and found peace and quiet in the solitude. He began to enjoy his time alone and found peace and quiet in the solitude. As the 40th day approached, John's transformation amazed everyone. As the 40th day approached, John's transformation amazed everyone. He began to wake up before sunrise and spend his days praying, reading, and reflecting on his life. He began to wake up before sunrise and spend his days praying, reading, and reflecting on his life. And now let's check your answers. The main character of our story is John. The main character of our story is John, right? Right? Excellent! You got it right! And that's the end of our lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed this touching story. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. See you next time.